Marcus had always been good at games. Not the fun kind, the office kind. The kind where you smile while stabbing someone in the back, where you take credit for other people's work, and where you somehow convince everyone that your failures are actually strategic victories. I watched him operate from my desk in the corner of our open-plan office at Synergy Solutions, a mid-sized marketing firm that prided itself on collaboration and transparency. Marcus was our senior account manager, and I was just Sarah, the quiet project coordinator who kept track of timelines and made sure deliverables actually got delivered. Most people barely noticed me, which was exactly how I liked it. Marcus thrived on being noticed. He had this way of walking into meetings 5 minutes late, apologizing with a theatrical sigh about being pulled into an important call with a major client. He'd interrupt presentations to add obvious points, somehow making them sound profound. And he had mastered the art of the strategic question, the kind that made whoever was presenting look unprepared while making him look thoughtful and engaged. But what Marcus excelled at most was the game of credit redistribution. He'd swoop in during the final stages of a project, make a few minor suggestions, then somehow end up presenting the entire campaign to the client. I'd seen him do it to Jessica in creative, to David in analytics, and to at least 3 people who no longer worked here. The first time he did it to me was 6 months ago. I had spent weeks developing a comprehensive social media strategy for our biggest retail client. Market research, competitor analysis, content calendars, the works. Marcus reviewed my presentation the day before the client meeting, made a few cosmetic changes, then walked into that conference room and delivered my strategy like it was his brainchild. I should have spoken up then. I should have said something. But I was new, and Marcus had this way of making you feel like you were being unreasonable for expecting recognition for your own work. The client loved it. Marcus got a bonus and a company-wide email praising his innovative approach. I got a brief mention as someone who helped with research. That night, I went home and did something I hadn't done in years. I updated my LinkedIn profile and started researching our company's organizational chart more thoroughly. You see, people always underestimated me because I was quiet. What they didn't know was that I'd spent 5 years working at Harrison, Blackstone and Associates, one of the most cutthroat consulting firms in the city. I'd learned how corporate hierarchies really worked, how information flowed, and how to build relationships that mattered. I'd left Harrison to have a better work-life balance, not because I couldn't play the game. I just preferred to play it differently than Marcus. Over the next few months, I started paying attention. Really paying attention. I noticed that Marcus had a pattern. He'd identify promising projects early, volunteer to provide input, then gradually insert himself until he was effectively running the show. He was particularly good at this during the final weeks when everyone was too busy to argue about roles and responsibilities. I also noticed that Marcus had a weakness. He was lazy. All his grand strategic insights were actually just repackaged versions of industry best practices he'd found online. His innovative ideas were clever mashups of successful campaigns from other companies. And his famous ability to anticipate client needs. He was reading their quarterly reports and social media posts the night before meetings. Marcus was good at the game, but he wasn't actually good at the work. The opportunity to test this theory came in March. Our agency landed Henderson Industries, a manufacturing company looking to modernize their entire brand identity. It was our biggest potential contract of the year, and everyone wanted to be involved. During the kickoff meeting, Marcus positioned himself as the natural project lead. I have extensive experience with industrial clients, he said. This is exactly the kind of complex, multifaceted challenge that requires someone who understands the intersection of traditional manufacturing and contemporary digital marketing. I volunteered to support the project with research and timeline management. Just Sarah, doing what Sarah does. Marcus barely glanced at me when I offered to help. That was his first mistake. I spent the next week doing something Marcus would never think to do. I actually researched Henderson Industries. Not just their website and recent press releases, but their entire corporate history. I found interviews with their CEO from trade publications going back 15 years. I discovered that their founder had a very specific philosophy about authentic communication that was woven into their company culture. More importantly, I learned that their current chief marketing officer, Rebecca Chen, had previously worked at Harrison, Blackstone and Associates. Not just worked there, she had been a senior partner on the same floor where I'd spent 3 years as a junior consultant. I sent Rebecca a carefully worded LinkedIn message mentioning our mutual connection to Harrison and expressing enthusiasm about working on Henderson's rebrand. She responded within hours, and we arranged a coffee meeting to discuss the project informally. Rebecca remembered me. More than that, she remembered the Morrison Industries analysis I'd led during my final year at Harrison, a project that had helped a struggling manufacturer completely reinvent their market position. "This is perfect," she said over coffee. "I was hoping your agency would put someone with genuine manufacturing experience on our account. So many agencies just treat us like any other client, but you understand that industrial companies have unique challenges." I agreed completely and mentioned that while I'd be supporting the project, Marcus would be the primary point of contact. Rebecca's expression shifted slightly. She'd dealt with Marcus types before. "Well," she said carefully, "I hope he'll be open to leveraging your expertise. We really need someone who understands our sector." That coffee meeting was Marcus's second mistake, or rather, his mistake was not knowing it had happened. Over the next 2 weeks, Marcus developed his preliminary strategy for Henderson Industries. I watched him work, noting his sources and methods. As expected, he'd found 3 successful B2B manufacturing rebrands from the past 5 years, and was creating a hybrid approach. It wasn't terrible, but it was generic. The kind of safe, professional strategy that looked good in PowerPoint, but wouldn't actually differentiate Henderson from their competitors. Marcus scheduled the strategy presentation for a Friday afternoon. The entire Henderson Industries marketing team would be there, including Rebecca. Our agency's leadership would also attend. It was that important. On Thursday evening, Marcus asked me to review his presentation one final time. "Just double-check the timeline and budget details," he said. "Make sure I didn't miss anything obvious." I opened his presentation and immediately saw the problem. Actually, I saw several problems, but one stood out immediately. Marcus had based his entire strategy on the assumption that Henderson Industries was struggling with brand recognition among younger demographics. His research showed declining engagement with 18 to 34-year-olds, and his solution focused heavily on social media activation and influencer partnerships. But that wasn't Henderson Industries' problem at all. During my conversation with Rebecca, she'd explained that their real challenge was communicating complex technical capabilities to procurement directors at other manufacturers. Their clients weren't 18-year-olds on Instagram, they were 50-something engineers who needed to understand why Henderson's precision machining capabilities were superior to their competitors. Marcus had solved the wrong problem entirely. I could have told him. I probably should have told him. But Marcus had made it clear over the past 6 months that my input was only valuable for checking timelines and budgets. So instead, I did something else. I prepared a backup presentation. Friday afternoon arrived, and our conference room filled with Henderson Industries' marketing team, and our agency's senior leadership. Marcus stood at the front of the room, confident and polished as always. His presentation was beautifully designed and professionally delivered. It was also completely wrong for the client. I watched Rebecca's face as Marcus explained his youth-focused strategy. Her expression grew increasingly concerned as he detailed his plans for TikTok campaigns and lifestyle influencer partnerships. When he finished, the room was quiet. Rebecca spoke first. "This is interesting, but I'm concerned we might be focusing on the wrong audience. Our primary challenge isn't consumer awareness, it's communicating our technical capabilities to B2B decision makers." Marcus nodded confidently. "Absolutely, but we need to think broader than traditional channels. Even B2B buyers are influenced by brand perception in the consumer space." Rebecca looked puzzled. "I'm not sure that applies to our industry." Our clients are procurement directors